Hey again everyone, and welcome back to the next car review. I hope you guys are having a really good time because I am too. I bring you American truly exotic supercar that's made to drive fast, that's made to not look back, and can be very intimidating to drive. If you want a car badly enough that's your dream car, you can daily drive anything that's practical and reliable. And so yes, some Vipers are practical. The Viper is hands down the cheapest sports car to actually own, maintain, and drive. So what do you get when combining a huge powerful V10 motor with no electronic aids, with drive to the rear wheels, correct massive oversteer, usually leading to a massive accident? Today, I bring you the 2008 Dodge Viper SRT10 ACR, and this Viper is one of the most underrated and one of the fastest Vipers ever made from Dodge. I will explain everything you need to know about this Viper, the features, the practicality, and the engine. Let's get to it. Dodge unleashed the fourth generation of the Viper SRT10 ACR at the Los Angeles Auto Show in the summer of 2007 and came out for the 2008 model year. The 4th gen Dodge Viper went in production from 2008 to 2010 and was essentially the last generation of the Viper from Dodge. Dodge announced that they discontinued the Dodge Viper on July 1st, 2010, while the 4th generation Viper was a success, so that they could work on the better Viper that came out 2 years later in 2012, taken over by SRT, stands for Street Racing Technology. The Viper SRT10 ACR is a 600 horsepower street legal track monster to dominate the racetrack and provide for an extra fascinating grip and handling. It is fast, challenging with a manual stick shift, and exciting to drive and sometimes dangerous to drive. The Viper ACR went on sale in 2008 at a price of less than $100K, which is not bad. The SRT-10 ACR at the time has taken the ultimate American's dream sports car with a combination of reduced weight, race-tuned suspension, and this car also has aerodynamic improvements to create the ultimate Viper for the street and track at the time. The 2008 Viper is powered by a massive 8.4 liter V10, just like most Vipers, that generates the output of 600 brake horsepower and 560 pound-feet of torque. The Dodge Viper engine comes with cylinder heads equipped with the computer-controlled shaped combustion chambers. It has large valves and an upgraded exhaust system. This Viper can rev up to 6,250 RPM redline and can go from 0 to 60 in less than 4 seconds. We're talking 3.7 seconds, and it can reach to a top speed of over 175 miles per hour. Now this may not sound quick because this car has a lot of maximum downforce, which reduces a lot of your top speed. The modified engine was equipped variable valve timing, which adjusts when the exhaust valves are open and closed according to engine speed and load, allowing the engine to breathe cleaner and more efficiently. The Chrysler SRT team took the SRT-10 ACR to the Nürburgring to prove what this car was made of. It went for a blast and completed a lap around the ring in a blistering time of 7 minutes and 12 seconds. This car is more than a second faster than the Lexus LFA Nürburgring Edition in 2011. The Viper SRT-10 ACR features a variable front splitter, an adjustable carbon rear wing, and front dive planes. The front splitter has 3 removable rub strips for protection and rear resistance. Also, the ACR is the abbreviation of the American Club Racer, which symbols the ultimate Viper. The street legal racer makes a good high performance and carbon fiber for weight reduction, and aerodynamics are tuned to maximize downforce and provides extra level of grip. Like the splitter, canards, and a big wing. This car is truly focused for handling and makes the car slower and top speed, unlike the standard SRT-10 version that can reach 200 miles per hour of the 4th generation. While the ACR has the two-tone paint scheme with a black center section and comes available with 5 different colors. You get Viper Red, you get Viper Black, Viper Violet, Viper Bright Blue Metallic, and Viper Orange. Also, if you've never seen this Viper in real life, but seen it in many racing games, one of the very first racing games to feature this car was a game called Practicality Racing 4, Gran Turismo 5 Prologue, and Forza Motorsport 3, and many more games that have this car. To be honest, most racing games at least have a Dodge Viper, and I first seen this car back in the early days of mostly Gran Turismo and Forza. Now let's dive right into the interior of the Dodge Viper SRT10 ACR. Now back then, Viper was more of an analog because Dodge Viper was really about driving dangerous and driving fast and without having stability and traction control. And that's what Dodge Viper is all about. Now, inside the car interior, it can be turned into a pure racer with an optional hardcore package if you really want to. The interior is just very basic, just like the other Vipers. This car has a radio, and below that there are simple climate controls with air conditioning too. Well, the first gen Dodge Viper didn't even have any of that stuff whatsoever. The car doors also has an integrated speakers on both sides. The Viper seats comfort is minimal, as overly firm and lack of support for the upper body of the driver. This car's comfort is rough, and when you're driving the Dodge Viper SRT10 ACR, the ride is not that comfortable because the Viper doesn't even have an adaptive independent rear suspension. Now, the seats are lack of seat padding. There's not that much seat padding. The center console looks pretty big and wide. It has a regular parking brake, as you can see, and a big storage compartment, and it has a 6-speed H-pattern manual stick shift like all the Vipers do, right next to the steering wheel, combined with 600 brake horsepower and an 8.4 liter V10 behind the front axle. The steering wheel doesn't have any buttons on it, it's just naked, plain, and it just said Viper on it. It has a Viper logo to save a lot of weight and improve fun factor, because the Vipers were made to be extremely fun with the big engine and rear-wheel drive train. Most of the weight you are going to feel when you're driving a Viper is from the front because of the massive engine that's behind the front axle. Behind the steering wheel is the old school 3 white gauge cluster with the red needle. Back when the Dodge Viper was still using some basic analog before the newest Viper came out in 2012, which is the 5th generation. The visibility from behind the driver in this car isn't good because of the race wing in the back that's blocking the view. So when you turn around and when you're trying to reverse, I think you got to use the 2 mirrors that's in front of you instead of just using the mirror inside the car when you look up to look back, because the point of view has just been blocked by the wing. Now let's dive right into the practicality. The SRT10 ACR only has 2 seats, and when you sit on the passenger side, there is a glove storage too. Yep, this car has a glove storage. The trunk space of the Dodge Viper is quite practical and contains 14.6 cubic feet of trunk space, and you can get the same from the 4th gen SRT10 Coupe. Even the 5th gen Viper has the same amount of trunk space. The Viper can handle an impressive amount of stuff, and you don't expect that from the 1st gen Dodge Viper, because now Viper is becoming more practical, and Viper is not even in production, but Viper is practical and you can put a lot of stuff in here. I will warn you, because most of you do question, can you daily drive a Dodge Viper? Well, you can for sure drive a Viper every day, just like the Corvette. The Viper can be practical and reliable and cheap to maintain, just like the Corvette. However, people who buy the Dodge Viper don't treat them like the Corvette owners, and the Viper is much different from the Vet. The Viper is a beast of an American sports car that doesn't have traction control, stability control, and only comes with a manual transmission, which makes it one of the most hazardous and scary cars to drive in the world, while its rival, the Corvette, has maintenance with the proper pair and are very reliable to easily maintain the cheap and fun affordable cars. Both of these cars have similarities, but they have a lot of differences too. It is important to remember that both of them are performance cars, and the Corvette is just much safer to drive than any Dodge Viper from Chrysler SRT or any Dodge Viper period. People get confused between the 3rd and the 4th gen Dodge Viper because both look identical and have the same platform, and a lot of changes that you cannot see between those two generations. So let me teach you. The 3rd gen and the 4th gen, the biggest difference you can tell with some minor changes, like the hood and the wheels in the 4th gen and the 3rd gen. The 4th gen has Michelin tires, different tires and a different suspension, and the 4th gen Dodge Viper has 90 more horsepower than a 3rd gen Dodge Viper. So the 4th gen Dodge Viper makes 600 and the 3rd gen makes 510 horsepower. And the 4th gen has a valve timing system and an upgraded exhaust, and it is a lot quicker than the 3rd gen. And if you look at the hood of the 4th gen Viper, there's a lot of vents in the hood, and then in the 3rd gen Viper there's just a few. That's the biggest difference, and the biggest difference is the rims and also the hood. That's basically it. That's all you get, and probably the power difference. You might want to check the performance stats too to see, you know, if this car is making 600 or 510 horsepower, to know if it's the 4th or the 3rd gen. Me personally, thinking about this car, I would drive this car but not own this Viper, but I do love the look of this Viper, and also the one stripe and the two-tone color scheme. It's pretty good looking supercar machine. And against the successor, which is the 2016 Dodge Viper ACR, I will probably pick that one because I find the 5th gen Dodge Viper ACR more thrilling. But also, this car can be thrilling, and this car came out in 2008, and we're in 2021, and this Dodge Viper is still fast. And always remember, when you have a Dodge Viper or when you're thinking about driving one, the older the Dodge Viper is, the more dangerous it is to drive, because the car can be dangerous when you hit the limits, except at low speeds. But I love the Dodge Viper. Every Dodge Viper looks amazing, and this one, it's just underrated. Nobody talks about the 4th gen Dodge Viper, but they are reliable and they are really fun once you get behind the wheel. That was the end of the car review of the 4th generation Dodge Viper SRT-10 ACR. And remember, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and make sure to share this video to anyone or anybody who is interested into cars like these. Now, without further ado, let's jump inside of the 2008 Dodge Viper SRT-10 ACR. Let's put the keys into the ignition and start the engine. Take a listen.